Yo, welcome to the live stream. Sorry that my camera lighting is a bit cursed today. I'm not sure why this is. Um, it could be because of the fact that the lighting in the room is a bit weird. I'll check it. Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe I'll look less cursed. Nope, it's just we're looking red today. That's fine. Thank you, camera. I really appreciate you. It could also be the t-shirt, to be fair. So Alvin. Hi, Alvin. Link in the description. Yeah, we used to do them via request in these sessions, but then I realized that it was probably better just for the sake of also doing these more regularly to just yeah, have them done via Ko-fi so that there's a more steady stream for layers, and it means that you definitely get the track reviewed at there, I suppose. How are you guys going, by the way? Welcome to the live stream today. This is number 4 of SP paid requests. For $5, you can get a song reviewed. We can listen to it. It can be on Ko-fi. I mean, it can be off this through Ko-fi. It can be on Spotify. It can be on YouTube. It can be wherever you want. Usually the live streams start a little bit chill, so we kind of look at the news or something like that and see what's been going on in the world. I like to do it. Yeah, no, what is going on with my on my camera? It's absolutely cursed. Oh, it's alright. What show? What's music news up to? Usually Tuesdays and Thursdays are a bit quiet. It's good to chat to people, granted, but they are often a bit quiet, and that's fine. I tried doing it an hour later so that if people wanted to come in, they could. Hopefully that doesn't potentially inconvenience more people than it would otherwise. Either way, it's fine. Music news. What is happening in Billboard today? There we go, Google. Go. Missed Canva create. Hi. It's on YouTube. Yeah, so it's on YouTube. There should be, we go to the channel real quick. Should be on there. Here. There you go. So it's here. So the live, here we go. So the live stream is on YouTube. Man, it's a bit kind of tough. I forget that I make noises. I really need to trim that out. I need to figure out how to trim it out, but it should be here. They have captions on as well, so you should be able to check that the captions are on. I've also put it on Patreon simply because of the fact that thank you, Elvin, for your request, by the way. I'll put that in the queue. The reason I've put the captions put on Patreon is because there was like one track that we couldn't see, if that makes sense. Like there was one track that got copyright blocked on the live stream, so that's on Patreon now, and I need to share that on YouTube. But either way, it's fine. That's okay. That's okay, Shinyida. Thank you. That's okay. That's okay. All the best with work. Yeah, all the best for work. Hopefully you have a good time at work. We have I've got a track from Elvin though, so we're gonna get into that now. Let's go. Let's do it. What we got? So do we go to orders? We do. Thank you, Elvin. We're gonna find this now. Cool. Elvin. Hang on. Elvin. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for the request. Did you want that via Spotify or YouTube? And I'm okay. Thank you. How are you? There we go. Once I know, we can put that in the queue. That's one. And that is, what is it? What is it? I go back here. You can find on YouTube and Spotify. We'll try, we'll try over. So we actually got a couple of requests now. That's kind of dope. So Alvin with their one for Moon Time. We'll go with thank you. We'll go with Spotify then. So we'll get Spotify loaded up. So the first request for today from Alvin K is Moon Time from Susumu Hirasawa, and we're going to listen through that on Spotify. So let's go. Let's do it. Listening time. Now, a gentle reminder, though, that I'm listening to the 5-minute mark with these. So these requests are still 5 minutes. It's just because I figured if I didn't put a limit on it, then someone could like put through like a 20-minute track or something like that. But yeah. See, that was a fantastic switch then. That was a fantastic switch with what was going on with the symphonic elements going into those drum kits and stuff. Oh, and that bass line popping in the bottom there. I enjoy that a lot. I think he's got a really pleasant voice to listen to. It harmonizes really neatly with the other elements, including the bass, drum, and sort of string parts. And just only, just while I remember. Actually, no, we'll continue with this. We'll review this track and we'll sort that out in the next one. And fantastic work coming out with just the strings to hover there. I think it's just the really interesting tones of the instruments as well, right? Like those are sort of unconventional drum kits, but they still work quite well and offer a more sort of like rigid juxtaposition to some of those smoother strings. And a harpsichord on the side as well, is it? I mean, it's just so much already. There is so much substance to this track. There is a similarity to some of the chord progressions and bass lines and stuff, but just the individual characteristics of those elements. Bells and hanging drum. Okay, cool. See, that's the thing. These are really interesting additions to a piece. I enjoy the exploration. It's a really cool song. Oh, slidey guitars as well. It's nice to have the vocals as a backing layer to it. And that's the 5 minutes. Thank you to Alvin K for their request today. I genuinely appreciate it. It's a really great track. If I say a few words about Moontime, I think that it's a wonderfully crafted piece of music that really exemplifies the strength of combining those string sections and symphonic elements with the bass and those drums there. I like the fact that we layered things as we went on. It's really pretty, as Jacob Good said. And by the way, just while I remember, Alvin K is doing well. Nice temps in July 4th coming up. Hopefully you enjoy the 4th of July. Hopefully that's a great time for you. I'm sure it'll be splendid. But yeah, I just think that we can sing really well. We have great sort of like hidden chest voice vocal control there. We have this incredible sort of environment though to sound ourselves on, and we really do play really neatly with the gentle continuous layering and development of that motif. With what happening later on with some like little slidey guitar parts and those sort of hanging bells and drums that you mentioned there, just being really interesting sounds, but also behaving really neatly with everything. Like it sounded like everyone was getting along and it was really glorious. And the concept of Moontime makes it seem like it's larger than life, almost like we're going through some sort of like an order sort of like out of body experience or something like that. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic track. The production on it is slick, and I had a great time with it. So thank you, Alvin K. That is the first song for today. It was great to hear it. I'm going to check the link. Yan Lee says, I forgot to provide a link. Well, Yan Lee, we can check that in a moment. We will see what's going on there. We will, of course, make sure... if we go to Alvin Quo's one, we have done Alvin Quo's. We have marked as complete. That's good. We have 2 more in the queue. We have one from Yan, as well as one from... That's looking like it could... Who is this? Is that Shenyida? Hang on, I'll check the email. I recognize the email on that. I'll just confirm there. There we go. Leon. It is. Thank you, Shenyida, as well as Yanli. So we're going to do Yanli's one first because they were next. And thanks for the request. Would you prefer YouTube or Spotify? Alvin K says, I have other suggestions later on, but didn't have more time to type in Japanese. This is his more tame work. Oh, okay. So this is his tamer stuff. So what happens in his other stuff? Because I think that this was really gorgeous. I can search it. I mean, we can search via YouTube or Spotify if you want. I mean, I don't mind. I'm just going to just reply to chat. And Jacob Good says it's world music genre. that is typically big sounding with non-Western instruments. Yeah, I like the fact that you're having other instruments in there. I think that's really great. I think it's great to sort of experiment with stuff. We'll go to that then. Wrong Howley. Here we go. I'm gonna search in here just in case we are okay with it. What if I go here and get rid of that? It's an album. Okay, we'll search that again. It's showing an album. Is it on the actual album itself? Oh, okay. That's it there. Cool. Fantastic. Let's do it. Track number 2 for today. Let's go. Thanks to Yan Lee for the request. Kind of a sweet sort of dig to this, like that, those trappish kind of hip-hop drums with the guitar? Fantastic transition now. I like the stoppy startery kind of stuttery drums here and now. They kind of cut the track and sort of like segment it within the beats. It's kind of fiery and feisty because of that. You can tell there are some smoother elements like some of those key parts and some of those almost sort of brushy elements, but in the same feature, it's just we're clearly trying to add a bit of edge to it. I mean, that guitar line as well is really intricate. That da 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 da. I think they're pretty much tapping that, and I think that's really cool. Would those also be synth brass? I would assume so. Yan Lee, what's the track about? What is this song about? I'm gonna quickly translate the title of it into Kofi so that I can understand it. Unexpected Winner. So apparently this is titled Unexpected Winner. Okay, cool. Okay, sub bass drop. And see, it's like little things like that. We've had quite a bit of consistency with the existing elements in the mix, like the brass, the guitar parts, the bass, the drums, as well as the vocal style. Clearly very comfortable in their range. But it's those little drum fills and those little extra bits of zazzle and spark that can really sort of spice it up. Oh, we're doing a fade out. Cool. So this is called Black Horse, actually. I don't know why I called Unexpected Winner. It's called Black Horse by Rong Hao Lee. Or is that the album lane? Is that the single lane? I'm not sure. But either way, I mean, it looks to be it. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this track was from an act named Rong Hao Lee, titled Black Horse. Thank you to Yan Lee for putting this track forward. I had a great time with it. I think to comment on this track, what I really appreciated about it was the chillness and approachability of the vocal stylings. They were very kind of like, it sounded like a solemn sort of, not a solemn conversation, but a calm, collected conversation for someone who clearly knew what they were talking about. We established that low to mid range quite early on and stuck there with the rapped parts. And then some of the sung parts we harmonized a bit higher on top and then the range, but then kind of added some extras on the last chorus there. Really sick. So we clearly have a style we're happy with and like to sort of like remain within that. I think it's very well fleshed out. In addition to that, I think that what's going on with the extra track itself, with the guitar leads there, you imagine like the horse, you can kind of imagine it's like a country thing, right? So I think that's really sick. If I take it off of the lyric screen there so you can see the art. I think that the country increments make it sound like it's out with the cowboys and everything like that. So that's kind of dope there. The tap parts were just an interesting melodic motif. I think these sort of hip-hop-ish, kind of trappish elements there make it seem more contemporary at the same time with the basses filling in the low range really neatly with the sub drop near the end kind of being kind of dope. And sort of the brassish elements there sneaked on top of the lower sort of subs, which is really wonderful there. Great contrast frequency-wise. Ultimately, quite a well-fleshed-out track there that I think I had a great time with. And I think that they wrote it quite well. And it'll be interesting to see what else they put out in future if we get the chance. But for now, again, thank you, Yan Lee, for your request there. It was great to hear it. We can tick that one off as completed. Who do we have next? We have Shen Yida with this track from... It's, what is it? This is... Here we go. Yeah. I have to look around my camera. I really need to replace my webcam at some point. Just going to check the requests at this point in time. That's good. Thank you, Jacob Good, for your pick as well. Just to check the chat. You're welcome, Yanli. It's all good. Alvin K says, Asasumu can go more intense with walls of sound, maximalist and progressive rock roots. Like, yes, that's cool. It's great to hear that they have that sort of flexibility with their approach to music. Shinyu does Spotify because I'm afraid you'll get attacked by copyright again. Thank you, Shinyu Dar. I appreciate that a lot. That means a lot. And Alvin K says, you after queue is short. I can add one more song. You're more than welcome to. Usually I go for the first hour and then like, you know, if we don't have tracks after the hour, that's fine. It's what it is. You know, it's okay. If we do have tracks that go over the hour, you know, usually I'll continue with that. Up until 2 hours, but that's rarer on weekdays just because, again, this is a new thing. And also, I think it's just people are busy on weekdays. And also, that's, you know, it's all good. Either way, yeah, I agree, Jacob. It is an interesting song, but people are allowed to put through multiple requests if they want. They just, if we get to a point where this gets to scale, we may have to put like a limit on requests. But for now, it's totally fine. But we're going to get started on this track. This track here, titled Dazzle from Yellow. So let's go. So I'm just going to quickly thanks for your request. There we go. Let's do it. Dazzle. Instantly with the funkiness for the bass line though, right? I mean, you can just hear the funkiness of that bass line with the different sort of guitar and sort of synthy elements or key elements on the side that the music surrounds you, as per other tracks immediately.
Isn't over my Something that I'm feeling about this fever. I just need you, just loving the edge. Grown for what I wished for long ago. Born for mighty town. I've been loose, I got moves. I've done levels by myself, but you knew I've been due. So I feel laughter here with me. Got this love within my heart. You get lost within my heart. While we both there, let's just fight to this.
You might think it's easier for me to review stuff in English because of the fact that, like, I have the lyrics right in front of me and I can understand them. But also part of my head is like, damn, I gotta now I gotta process the lyrics and the song at the same time. The guy is so well positioned in his frequency and range in his head voice. What's up, Andres? How you doing? How you doing? Hopefully everyone is having a good day today. It's just, let's just vibe to this as the epitome of this track. It's just got such a strong attitude there. It's so welcoming and slick.
Let this love get groovy. Love what you did to me. Let this love get groovy. Love what you did to me.
And keys. Sort of trippy drums. Dude, the production is absolutely insane. With most of the stuff that I've heard from Yellow, thanks again to Shin Yi-da for putting tracks through. We've had a few tracks from Shin Yi-da for Yellow. I am enamored with their style. I think they are tremendous musicians.
Something that I'm feeling about this fever. I just need you. This is loving the air. Born for what I wish for long ago. Born mighty town. I've been loose, I got moves. I've done levels by myself, but you knew I've been due. So I feel laughter here with me. You got this love within my heart. You get lost within my heart. While we both here, let's just vibe to this. Let this love get groovy. Love what you did to me.
It's like there's just so much going on there. This is like kind of lo-fi aesthetic almost with like some of the guitar parts there, as well as some jazzy increments. But then you also have the bass line thumping along in the bottom there, creating, as well as like the key parts in the sense and the surrounding elements. There's just so much to appreciate.
Let this love get groovy. Love what you
So that there was Dazzle from Yellow. Thank you to Shin Yi-da for another excellent Yellow track. Personal reference, Huang Zhuan's entire album is suitable for savoring, especially many of the songs in this album were composed when he was around 15 years old. If that is the case, that blows my mind. Just from my understanding of music theory and composition and stuff like that, it's just tremendous. There's so much attention to detail here. There's so many moving parts and components that all simultaneously work together. That it's almost like borderline virtuosic. It may seem like an exaggeration, but I think it's this 101 ways where we could screw up what is effectively a love song or a song of passion with this many different instruments and elements there. I think that. Like when I hear this, I think, how could you possibly improve that? I mean, like clearly the vocal stylings here, they're on top. They've absolutely smashed it. They're the exact kind of mood you want for discussing this kind of fever or this kind of passion you have for someone. It's very suave and endearing and very palatable, and it kind of sounds a bit sexy, right? And then you've got that on top of the different sort of like organ kind of wonka wonka parts there with the guitars as well, with these wonderful melodic sort of classy intonations there, suggesting you're in some sort of like fancy nightclub or something. with the bass down the bottom sort of thumping away and slapping and moving between those lines in a way that's very groovy, syncopating with the drums there and providing a great sense of sort of like overall value to the piece there with the attention to detail there. But it's also like the sub elements there, like at the end of the track there, we got these kind of quieter percussive bits and these glitchy sort of like hi-hat bits and stuff. And I can only imagine how long it would have taken for them to have gotten that to a point where they were happy with it. I understand intensely how much detail was involved within this and how long it would have taken for them to do a lot of the various little bits in this. And it's not easy. It's advanced stuff. This is a special song. The production is absolutely tight. The theme overall is incredibly sort of like generous and often it invokes the vibe of being surrounded by that music. And you know, it's tremendous. So yeah, I'm really satisfied with that. Thank you, Shinyuda, for that. That was a great song. It was awesome. Yeah, that definitely, I can imagine that they're definitely worth following. Huang Zhuan is a great producer and he is currently on a variety show where he is showing off arranging skills. I think that we might have seen that a couple of times. I think that we might have seen that. I think that variety show, to be fair to them, I think that variety show might have actually allowed me to have the video on YouTube, which is good. Like I submitted a request to uncopyright block the video because they initially copyright blocked it, and I think they may have allowed me to keep it on there, which is good. It's great. You're welcome, Shinyuda. Andreas says just put one request before going to work. You're absolutely welcome. We have got 2 in the queue there. Thank you to Shinyuda for that. There, boom. I know I've said it a few times. It's just because I've got a screen on the other side. I don't mean to overdo it. Don't know if you guys can hear it. We've got the rubbish truck outside picking stuff up. Sometimes it's a bit loud. Like I've got double glazed windows and stuff, but you can still hear it. It's like the beeping sound they make when they go backwards, you know. The next track though is from Jacob Good. Cool. And after that we have Andreas. So there are currently 2 tracks in the queue, which is fine, which is, you know, this is clearly good. Oh, we got Radiohead. I see we're trying to get me more into Radiohead, Jacob Good. Or just trying to show more off. I dig that. Yeah, we put a link there. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Jacob. Because I just see I'm gonna have to adjust for the request. Here we go. And we're gonna get into it. Track number 4 for today, if I'm not mistaken. Let's do it. We didn't have time to listen. We didn't have time to listen to the news today, the music news.
Just the drum. So, A first, and then it's the full band.
We can still play the top really quietly then, would that be alright?
Yeah.
Play the top really quietly then.
I like the fact that they're just chatting and showing us sort of like kinsmanship and chemistry before they even get started. I appreciate that. Fantastic dynamic range.
The moon is up on a mountain. The lunatics have taken over the asylum, waiting on the rapture.
So intimate.
Singing we to keep your prices down. Feed you to the hounds, to the Daily Mail. Together, together.
those little transitions, those kind of uncomfortable sort of like arpeggiated shifts there are what kind of makes this a bit more intriguing for me.
Security got through the gate. You got away with it, but we're lying
Phenomenal dynamic range. I think several
Let's move on, yeah.
several comments I have about this. Thank you to Jacob Good for putting this forward. This was Radiohead's track titled the Daily Mail. What do I think this track is about? I think it's about someone, from what I got lyrically, I imagine it's someone who, they look at the mail, he was talking about like mistakes made and everything like that. Some of the words I didn't get through clearly, but you get the impression that maybe the mistake they made was in the newspaper or something like that. It could be like a wider comment though. I'm always unsure how to interpret Radiohead stuff because a lot of it, like, there's like extra meanings to it and everything like that. But ultimately, I think I'd need more I need another listen through it to sort of really get the lyrics through clearly and sort of like get an overall sort of like understanding of them. I think part of that is due because I think that the lyrics went so like fade into a lot of the instrumentation we have later on. It's a really compelling, intriguing piano line with the vocals that we have there. It's like we're almost trying to make a ballad, but then we don't really want to do that in the sense that it's not like meant to be like a nice ballad. It's got a lot of sort of like chromatics and sort of like potentially uncomfortable notes in there that make it sort of as almost sort of surreal experience. Like you think everything's going well, but then things, clearly things change for not the better. And like, no, I don't want to say that. It's almost like things are sort of like crumbling and sort of like glitchy a little bit. There's this kind of underlying sort of like tone of uncertainty I heard when like it came to the brass parts coming in with some of those like elements there. Like it sounded really heavy in that mid to high range there when the brass came with like trombones and trumpets and everything like that. But then what you had is when things went full bore near the end with that massive part, like where things just got really loud with the bass, guitars, the drums and everything like that. I think that genuinely it's kind of sold me on it a bit, at least the aesthetic of it with the instruments there. There was like this followable kind of like bass line there with the chord progressions, and it all kind of melded together as if like there was a culmination of that mistake you made or that pig's ear you made. I think that the coolest thing about this track for me, just to close, is that it passed by so quickly. It was such a journey you took and you're at the end. In that regard, I think it's an incredibly well-written song. It sucks you in with those really quiet piano and vocal parts at the start, but then as you go along, you just feel like you've come out of some sort of like it's great. That's what a song's meant to do, really. It's meant to kind of pull you in and sort of like spit you out the other side feeling better for it. I thought the vocals were great. Again, it didn't go through all the words clearly, but I think that's just part of the vocalist's style there, and you can just tell how intense and how focused on the performance they are, as with everyone else. They're a solid band. I'm starting to like Radiohead a bit. I'm not a massive fan of all of the stuff I've heard from them, but I think that they do make some good music, and this is clearly one of those tracks. So thank you to Jacob Good for that. That was a cool track to listen through. We are going to tick that off. It was done. And I'm sorry to hear that Kwang Zhon is potentially going to be eliminated. I think that he's a fantastic vocalist, and there'll be, I hope it'll be a shame if they didn't get the chance to continue. How are we doing request wise? Do we have one more? We do. So we have one more request for today. That's totally fine. That's a good day. Like, I think the first time we did these, we got 2. So if we got 5 today, that's solid. That's nice. Thank you to Alvin, Jan, Shenyida, Jacob Goodall, Andreas for your requests today. The last of these being Andreas's before they go to work. Hopefully you have a good time at work, Andreas. Hopefully things go well for you today. I will thank you in the chat. There we go. Thanks for the request. There we go. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's do it. The final track for today. This is titled Oath from Mono. Let's do it. Almost kind of sounds a little bit spacey, right? Interesting. It is an interesting combination of those synths with those strings with the little sparkly bits on the sides. See, that was smooth. We had enough of those strings, the synths on the sides there to establish a consistency with that motif there. And it's around the point, that sort of first third of the track, that you're like, how are they going to change this? What's going to happen next? Is this going to be for that whole 4 minutes 20? And then boom, the drums with the 16th note groove. And Alvin, you are more than welcome to put one through if you'd like today. That's totally fine. We have got another one of these on Thursday, and then the one after that will be in a few weeks' time, as I'll be away from YouTube for a bit. That's okay. Whatever works for you guys. I would say the brass sounds very regal, like you're making a sworn oath to something. Oh, fantastic transition with the toms. Woo. Okay. It's just those tremolo as well as the crash patterns, which add a lot of extra intensity to it. Thanks, by the way, to Alvin for your extra sort of commission there. I've just seen that. Thank you for putting that through. The tremolo picked guitar part. So what really sort of like elevates this for me, I think it's tremendously sort of like passionate there. It invokes a sense of grace, as well as like you really need to be focusing on this. That's the inference you get from it. Very beautiful. It softens with the reverbs. Tremendous. Absolutely incredible. What a wonderful build. And back to those synths on the side. I think the really important thing with an instrumental piece, thank you to Andreas for the request, by the way, with this track from Mono titled Oath, I think that the important thing about this track is that it invokes the sense of wonderment with the synths, with the strings on the side and everything like that, and the pads there. You have this feeling of what is this? What is this world they're creating here? How do they want us to interact with it? And for example, if Mono were quite about the guitars and bass and drums building up into those elements, so you might be thinking, you know, how are we going to come to that from this? But I think what's really cool about this is that this track is split into three components. You've got that intro section with those sort of like synthy motifs, bringing in the drum part at like the 140 mark there to kind of elevate things and sort of like make it more intriguing with the sense of shuffle that you have going on there as a bit of extra sort of intensity and implosiveness there. But then finally, you have this extra bit of headroom that is not sort of like necessarily instantaneously sort of like divulged, where these drums, the crashes, and like the fill part comes in beforehand, I think, if I'm not mistaken. You have the fill like in a switch up there to sort of indicate something is about to happen. And then boom, you come in with these full sounding guitars, you know, bass and drums there, and it's just huge, and it's incredibly, it's awe inspiring, really. Like I love the fact that it's like when you don't have a vocal lead, you need to do something different with the way you communicate musically, and you need to sort of like captivate the listener whilst telling them a story without words. And they managed to do that here. I think you've just got this feeling of constant movement upwards with things flying and rising there. The brass on one side, the strings on the guitar is sort of tremoloing in the other, and everything like that. Things sort of fluctuating, and they come back down to earth at the end. It is the SB fan request playlist on Spotify. So just while I remember, the fan request playlist is still here. I've been kind of umming and ahhing about like adding these to it because they're not quite like fan requests. They're a bit different, but I suppose we could like start considering the fact that these are probably going to be how these go in future. So you can still use that playlist to check stuff. I've put all the tracks on there from there. As far as I'm aware, the most I missed, but most of them are on there. So yeah, fantastic song, really well produced as well. It's got this wonderful sort of like reverb tails and everything, very misty sounding as if you're going up in the clouds there, which makes sense with the artwork that we've got over here. Ultimately, very, very, very satisfying, and even make the artwork big if you want. That's something I didn't realize I could do until now, so that's great. But there is the artwork for it with people in the clouds, the oath being marriage, the marriage being a glorious sort of spiritual thing with the brass from the heavens. It makes a lot of sense. So well done. Well done to Mono, and thank you to Andreas for their request. We have the next track for today, though, from Alvin. This is marked as completed, which is cool. Alvin Quo. Let us do this. This is titled Sunset Roller Coaster on Spotify. Thank you. So we shall go to Spotify. I'm just going to do a couple of little admin things. But these have been some really good tracks today. It's worth noting that after this, if the queue is empty, I will be going to go get some food. People are welcome to submit requests. It's just that I usually I stay for the first hour. If there are still requests afterwards, I do those. If there are not, then we kind of end the live stream early because I feel awkward. I feel awkward when because then it's like, do you stay for another hour, for example? And while I enjoy hanging out with people, I just think that first hour is a good amount. There's only so much you can do reading the music news for an hour, for example, like that. So yeah. Apart from, you know what I mean? But then we usually talk to people during these sort of like the first hour anyways, so it's fine. But yeah, we'll do this. Let's do it. So we got Alvin. There we go. And then here, Alvin, thanks for you. Can't type properly, man. For your request. Yeah. And then making sure there's nothing else I missed in the queue. That's good. There we are. And let's get into it. Boom. That's it, right? Livia. Is it, or am I tripping? It is. So what have we got here? Oh, it's very somber, isn't it? It's very like low lying, isn't it? It's calm, but then you also get these really sort of round sort of bass synthy parts, and it's I love the sound and intensity of some of those synth pads on the side as well there. Those sequences, should I say. They juxtapose the relative calmness of the vocals there and provide a really sort of fascinating backdrop to it. Oh, that's fantastic. That's an interesting transition there. Like, there's a bit of a build there with the oscillations and fluctuations, but it's also like it's a situation where I suppose if it had been too blunt, it would have been a bit off-putting, right? Who is Levia specifically? Is Levia like a goddess or something like that? Is it like a concept? You know, Taiwanese rock group, more of an island California rock style usually. Waterfalls in heaven when she's losing all her mind. I mean, it's wonderful lyricism there. I really appreciate the imagery involved. Almost like sort of like synthwave. Not synthwave, but so relaxing to listen to though, right? And then we end on that note. Thank you to Alvin for the request there for this track from an act named Sunset Roller Coaster, titled Levia. What do I think Levia is about? Whispered that you would finally let me grow up in your head. Come on, Levia, we'll never separate. So basically, do they initially want to get together, but then eventually they realize that they've burnt themselves out? You know? Adoring these three broken creatures, the angels and the sun, shall we await the second coming? As she crushed my lies, forgotten was divine. Yeah, I'm wondering what Levia is, though. So, like, for Levia, I suppose, came down from the stars. They were at some point something, like, really wonderful, but then maybe they were less, they were broken, and then they were still going to be okay. Well, no, they said, "Our nothing, so goodbye." So maybe they realized they didn't want to be with that angel after all. I'm not sure, but either way, I think that a lot of this track recited in the quality of the vocal parts. I think that the way we sung was just really kind of gentle, like we were kind of having a conversation with them at nighttime. So I think that's kind of makes sense with the talk about like the going to bed and sleep and everything like that. The synth parts there, where they speckled upwards and kind of like fluctuated like that, were kind of neat in regards to the actual tone and texture of them. And they added a sense of mystery and kind of sparkle to the piece with some of the warmer, kind of more sort of like cozier synth pads covering those drum parts really neatly there. It was nice to have that sense of like lots of different sounding instruments that found a way to sort of connect with each other texturally within the piece. We allowed ourselves to start kind of low to allow ourselves more range up the top for the vocals, like low frequency wise with instruments and some of those bass responses to allow those vocals to sit on the top really neatly with the pads and stuff like that. And the track is more of kind of like focusing on a through composed experience, a journey that the singer is making or the singers are making throughout. The backing motifs and parts kind of either setting the mood for those to let the listener a little bit more, or ultimately it's satisfying. I think that it's really well produced there. It's nice and fresh sounding. It's a really great first impression of Sunset Roller Coaster's work if we haven't reviewed them before. Thank you to Alvin K for putting that forward. I just think it was a really peaceful, chill track there to finish the stream with. As you said, good ending for the stream. Yeah, I think that's us for today. That was cool. We got to review a few tracks. I had a good time. Hopefully you guys did too. It was good to check out some new material. I'm probably going to be back on Thursday, so in 2 days' time. The Fan Request 3 is on YouTube. I've also put up a version with that extra track that got copyright blocked onto the Patreon that I'm about to go live with. It's not a massive part of it. It's like a few minutes of it, but just in case people wanted to see that part too, because I know that a person, they paid to request that. Ultimately, I think this time may work better for people as I understand it. It's okay if it doesn't, though. It's what it is. But either way, thank you for coming along to this Fan Request live stream. Thank you again to Alvin, Julian, Shinyi, Jacob, and Andreas for their picks. And hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show the musicians and artists involved some love via their various social medias and Spotify and YouTube pages. And stay cool, stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next fan request live stream, next video, whatever happens. And yeah, Spiderhands out. 3, 2, 1.